everybody and welcome to hole number 2, a short par 4 in the Winter Slopes tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go. I'm going to show you two approaches here, one with tailwind, one with headwind. First, we need to have in mind that we do want to put and take a look at the second bounce. The second bounce with tailwind should be perfectly aligned with the fairway on the right. So we do have more than the half of the rough there on top to play with. We're going to play this one with 10% extra, and I'm going to play it with max numbers. So it max numbers 10% extra from that position. And bounce in on the rough, and we get it over here to the fairway. It's going to be an easy eagle, as we can hit it with our wedge here from this position. So the thing that we need to have in mind with this hole here is the compressed and the extended ball guideline. If we do have tailwind, the bounce is going to be much longer than it would be if we do have crosswind or of course with headwind. So that is why we're aiming with the second bounce in almost the middle of the rough on the top, as the bounce will put it to bounce in the end of the rough instead. We can, if we want to, aim with the ball guideline a little bit further back in the rough to have a little bit more room. 3 bars of topspin with tailwind, not more than that, because again, with tailwind the ball is going to get such a speed that if we're using too much topspin, or I would say if we're using 4 or 5 bars of topspin, two things could happen. One, we can cut the rough, but we will roll over the green into the rough or into the sand. 2, that we're going to miss the rough completely when we're bouncing and doing like our opponent is doing here, going into the rough or in the sand. And that's of course something that we do want to prevent. So max numbers 10% extra when we're playing this hole. And you can play it with whatever driver. I would suggest though that if you do have an upgraded quarterback or the rock, not often I suggest the rock, then you can use those clubs, because then you do have a ball guideline, you do have an accuracy to fall back on as well, that a great shot wouldn't be that way off, I would have to say. So in the second example, we're going to talk a little bit about headwind. And in headwind, it's going to be slightly different, as we're going to have a compressed ball guideline. And a compressed ball guideline means that when you take your shot and when it hits the ground, the ball is going to lose speed and therefore not going to bounce as long as the ball guideline is telling you. So that is very, very important, and something that many players are having an issue with, because that is a very easy thing to have an issue with, because we do in our mind follow the ball guideline. That's just normal. That's how we are learned to play. But of course, when we come to that situation, when it is as it is now with these holes, then it's going to be very, very important to think about that, because otherwise we're going to be short and we're going to get stuck in the rough. So our opponent here is going to start playing with a basic ball, big props to that, but of course in a tournament we do want to play with another type of ball. And I would say when you play this hole in headwind, play this one with a power 3 ball if you can. Otherwise a power 2 ball will of course be okay, but a power 3 ball, just as we do have to in, let's say we do have an 8, 9, 10 miles per hour, it's going to be important for us to be able to adjust into max distance without having to overpower our shot. So in this case, when we do have headwind, I'm going to add 15% to my adjustment, playing in max numbers. I'm playing with a Marlin ball to just show you here that it is going to be okay to do so. Look at the second bounce. That is what we're going to focus on here. I do have 6 bars of topspin, and you can see my second bounce is way further than it was with tailwind. It's just there by the top of the rough. And also the difference is that I'm using the more topspin or max topspin instead of using the 3 bars that I did on the first example. I'm still going to go with a little bit of overpower, as again I'm using a power 0 ball, which in the end is not that smart, I guess. But then you can see even though we're using more topspin, we're using a higher position with our landing position, we're still ending up hitting the rough and then rolling out and being on the fringe. In this case, I'm going to have an easy eagle. So that is how much of an effect that the ball, like the compressed and the extended ball guideline, is going to make. So if you do have any questions about that, or about the hole in general, or about anything else, let me know in the comment section below. Sign up on patreon.com/golfclashtommy if you do want to get the text guides And in the end, the video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so good luck in the Winter Slopes tournament.